the size of the boat.
Right, and up in my neck of the woods, up in the Leelanau County area, there is a harbor refuge, I think. Isn't it like Grand Traverse Bay that
Yes.
Traverse City one?
Yes, there's Traverse City has, that's a good example.
Yeah.
In fact, that's been
Upgraded.
upgraded recently as well.
Right.
We visited that last summer with the city manager, and it's a very nice facility. Leelanau is going under a renovation.
Yes.
Charlevoix
Leland, yep.
is Leland, excuse me,
Yep.
as Charlevoix is right in the midst of renovation as we speak. So there's
16
definitely
all the way around the state.
That's right.
How were those ever designated? Just
There's
kind of
approximately, there was some study done. There are approximately a harbor about every, I think, 32 or 34 miles around, and so they're strategically placed. The only spot that is missing in the necklace of harbors for the harbors of refuge is in the Cross Village area, and there was designated one there, but there was some environmental issues with the piping plovers that were on the beach area, and there's habitat issues there, and so an alternative location for that is still on the so-called radar, but it has yet to be settled. But otherwise, that program has been successful.
And the waterways is a pretty successful. That fund's pretty successful.
Yes.
I mean, it's raised a lot of dollars, millions of dollars. Because I mean,
Yes.
to upgrade those harbors, it's not a few
Well,
$100,000. It's
No. As an
millions of
example,
dollars.
we right now are in the process of pursuing on the very cusp of beginning the renovation of Mackinac Island Harbor, and that's $5 million. So that involves some dredging and it's a nice
Rock,
harbor
yeah.
and all that, but it's in need of many of these now are. Some of them are 25, 30
and they
plus
need
years
to be
old.
upgraded.
Yes,
Definitely.
and for safety reasons, accessibility, bringing them up to ADA standards, and just general that. But also, water levels in the Great Lakes are chronically down, and there needs to be ways to ensure that people can get in and out, even though the Corps of Engineers does a lot of the dredging. But in that particular spot, as you get closer in, we need to make sure the harbors are accessible, and notwithstanding the sailboat races and other
Right,
special
yeah.
things that go on that are big economic generators.
Of the 16, are any of them actually fully owned by the state of Michigan, or is it?
Oh, they're all owned by the state.
Okay.
The 16, yes.
Okay, and then what is the coordination or collaboration that you do with the locals? Is that just
Those are an additional 63 on top of that
Okay.
that are located in cities and towns and townships scattered around the Great Lakes. They have to have a connection to navigable waters to the Great Lakes, and that's the requirement. So that's why the Manastees and the Charlevoix
Okay, I
and
see.
Leland and Port Huron and Alpena, those types of places.
So those that are not special in the sense
Right.
that
They're fully public marinas that are owned and operated by a local public government, and we are partners with them in that
okay,
regard.
and they can apply to the waterways. And
That's correct.
That's how that
But
works.
any private marinas that they cannot
Okay.
apply because they're private businesses.
Okay. How many, I don't know, maybe you don't know this number off the top of your head, but how much in terms of acres does the state own for parks?
We own about 285,000 acres, or have control of, that are involved with the 97 state parks and recreation areas that we have and scattered throughout the
That's
state.
a lot to manage.
Yeah, it's the DNR has quite a bit more land involving state forests and the like, but these are, there's a lot of land to manage and a variety of sites, obviously 97 scattered all over the state, from as far west of the UP and to all the way down in southeast Michigan and Detroit, and all the way to the other corner is Warren Dunes near the Indiana border. So we've got a lot of geography to cover as well.
And I know that the commission that's appointed by the governor was working on they called it a consolidation of land, or a review of the holdings that the state has. Do you want to bring us maybe up to date on
Sure.
where they're at on that?
Yes, the process is moving into phase 3, which is basically the going county by county to say these lands were determined through a rigorous review to not to be mission related to the DNR.
And let's talk about what's the mission. I mean,
the mission would be basically in 2003 and 4 there was an analysis done of every state forest, wildlife area, and state park and recreation area to determine what would be the defined boundaries, and they had to be justified. And then any of the land that fell outside of those boundaries that didn't fit were then subject of this land review. And then those parcels of land were reviewed against about 14 criteria, and then with internal staff review from every division to look at their natural value, if they were at waterfronts, any of that sort of thing, wildlife value and the like. And then they were all rated, and then there were lists made of properties then that were not needed or didn't fit any of those criteria to retain, and therefore they then by county became on a list, and there was a public meeting to identify those, and we heard the public, and then recommendations are now starting to go to the NRC, and determinations are made then to say which lands we don't want. And those that we don't, then our first step is to go to the local governments or conservation partners to see if they are interested to buy them. Yes, and then we proceed from there, and the end result would be to sell them to the highest bidder. But our goal is to capture the fair market value and then take those dollars, put that into the land fund, and then be able to use that to purchase lands within the boundaries or the in-holdings that to fill out the lands that we
make it
talked
more
about.
Condensed.
To make them cohesive, yes.
Yeah. Now, the issue of purchasing land, because I think this is always a misconception that citizens have. If it comes to that and actually some of the land is sold, the money that is raised from that sale goes back into the restricted fund that we just constitutionally protected.
Correct.
It doesn't go into the general fund.
That
it goes
right.
right back into a fund that is protected by the Constitution and that is used to manage parks or buy more land and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's strictly for buying more land.
Yeah. In these tough budgetary times, we're not going to be raising money by selling land.
As you know, we have been, as some of the, shall we say, some of the parcels that have gotten some interest, some people have said, well, gee, you're selling land to bolster other things, and that is absolutely not the case.
Yeah, it's not true. It's not true,
that is
and
right.
The voters made sure of that in the last election. Well, I know we're getting close to our end here. I just wanted to highlight some of our special parks up in the 35th State Senate District, but certainly in my hometown, Leelanau State Park, that's a good one. And over in Roscommon, and let's see, we have the Higgins Lake, and there's a nice conference center there that is owned by the DNR.
Yes,
great state park.
The Ralph Makins, the Ram Center, as people call it, is a very popular place on just adjacent to the North Higgins Lake State Park, and it's a very nice spot and a positive thing, and it's self-supporting by the revenues. One thing I wanted to bring out, just in your home court, just so people might not know, Interlochen State Park, which is the oldest state park, is on June 16th. From 2 to 4, there's going to be a 90th birthday party at the park for people. Some people may not know that Interlochen was the first state park.
That was the first? Oh,
yes.
Fantastic.
Officially the first state park. So it's 90 years old this year.
And of course we have the free fishing weekend coming up in June, I believe.
Yeah,
so you can do that at our state parks. Any other special events like that you want to touch on?
There's so many of them that I would just urge the viewers to go on the website for the DNR, and we started this new program, Go Get Outdoors, and we have Go events,
that's great.
Some of which are coupled with free fishing, but many of them are scattered throughout the year, and they're trying to get people to come out and get outdoors.
That's great. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I hope that everyone who had a chance to watch today gets out and recreates on our state parks. So,
yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in this month with In Touch with Northern Michigan.